Ponyo, 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 fishy in the sea. Oh God, I'm gonna have that stuck in my head all day now. Hello lovely people of YouTube and welcome back to Mark on Life and Ghibli Time! Thank you so much to everybody that watched last week's episode, which was Tales from Earthsea. If you haven't seen that episode, what have you been doing? I will leave a link in the description below so you can go watch it and at the end of this video. Today we are covering one of my absolute favourites in the Ghibli series. I've been waiting so many weeks to do this one. It is the absolutely wonderful Ponyo. Ponyo was first released on the 19th of July 2008. Work began on it in 2005, 2006, so a longer production period than normal. Japanese title for this one is Gake no Ue no Ponyo. It's pretty exact, except for it's been shortened. So it means Ponyo on the cliff. Gake is cliff, Ue is sort of on, so Gake no Ue no Ponyo, Ponyo on the cliff. In the UK, it was originally titled Ponyo on the Cliff by the Sea. Not exactly sure why they needed to add that little bit of geographical detail. It's pretty obvious it's by the sea if you've watched the film. But it was shortened down to Ponyo for short, which is all you really need. Again, we have the dream team. Director is Miyazaki and he also wrote it. And the music is Joe Hisaishi. It is, you can see it straight away. It has the utter charm that these two have created over years. You've probably seen on all the ones where those guys have worked together, on all the videos that I've done for GhibliTime. When these two guys work together, it's just wonderful. The score is beautiful, the artwork is fantastic. It just works. There was absolutely no CG, no computer graphics in Ponyo at all. It was all done with traditional cells, animation cells, which hadn't been done for a while. And the detail in this film was insane. The first 12 minutes of this film, as an example, took 1,613 pages of concept art. And when you watch it, you'll know why. Miyazaki made sure that he did all the water effects himself. He was very specific on that. But those first 12 minutes are some of the greatest animation ever. It's just the beauty of the sort of sea creatures and the detail is fantastic. Lots of sort of references and influences in there, sort of in an abstract way, came from Hans Christian Andersen's Little Mermaid. It wasn't a direct thing, Miyazaki was clear on that, more of an abstract influence, and then a lot on Wagner, Richard Wagner's kind of musical work, even down to the name of the main character, Ponyo, was actually Brunhilde. So lots of Wagnerian influences in there. English dub for this one is really good. As Ghibli is quite wont to do, they use young people for young parts, as some other companies do not. And so the two youngsters, main characters in this, are played by Frankie Jonas of Jonas Brothers fame and Noah Cyrus of Cyrus family fame. And they're very good. Beyond that, then you've got some A-listers, some heavy hitters. We've got Cate Blanchett, Matt Damon, Tina Fey, Betty White, Liam Neeson, and a bunch of other people. It's really good, this dub. You know me, you know I prefer the Japanese soundtracks on these, but if you're going to watch the English, it's really good on Ponyo. So what happens in Ponyo? Well, we're set in a small little sort of fishing village. It's a fictional village, but it's apparently based on a village called Tomonoura, which is in the Seto Naikai National Park, which Miyazaki spent some time in 2005. He got an apartment there and stayed there for months and obviously liked it. And as you know from previous videos, Miyazaki and Ghibli are very likened to creating the locations from real places, and so that's no exception here. So we centre around two main characters, Brunhilde or Ponyo and Sosuke. And we first meet Brunhilde, who is a goldfish, although she doesn't actually look like a goldfish. I will make that point. She looks like a little red-haired girl in a red dress. but she's a goldfish. And so this is our opening, our incredibly epic 12-minute opening of Under the Sea, which is where she lives with all her fish sisters and their dad, played by Liam Neeson. And she is swept away to the surface and gets lost in a bunch of garbage under the sea and gets stuck in a jam jar. And she's washed up near the house of our other main character, Sosuke, a young boy. And he finds Brunhilde kind of stuck in this jar and cracks it and sets her free, also cutting himself at the same time. And the little fish licks the blood, and that will have an effect that he doesn't know yet. But he puts her in a little bucket and sort of makes sure she's okay and takes her home. Sosuke lives with his mum and dad. Dad isn't home, he's away, a naval officer at sea, and mum works at the senior centre on the other side of town. So Sosuke calls the fish that he catches Ponyo, as in the title. Ponyo, the name, according to Miyazaki, is an onomatopoeia. Now, I'm sure all you know what onomatopoeia is. It's a word that sounds like the thing it is, like bang, click, whatever it might be. And in Japanese, onomatopoeia is incredibly important. I think I mentioned this in a previous video. There's hundreds of onomatopoeia in Japan, and they are very, very specific. So, you know, if you are a native Japanese speaker, you will know that this onomatopoeia means this, and that one means this. It's sort of less nebulous than it is in English. And so Miyazaki thought that the name Ponyo is a sort of onomatopoeia for a, sounds a bit weird, sort of soft squishiness to the touch. Maybe the touch of a sea creature, I don't know, but that's where the name Ponyo comes from. And so he takes Ponyo home and cares for her, looks after her, all that stuff. But her dad comes from the sea and eventually sort of takes her home, takes, you know, with his powers of water and the ocean, takes her home. And so Ponyo now is very sad and starts to rebel and doesn't really want to be with her kind of fish kind of family anymore, but wants to be back with Sosuke. She's sort of found love for Sosuke and wants to be human now, and so she takes action into her own hands. So Ponyo decides to rebel. She breaks some of the magic, or uses her own magic in her undersea home, and breaks out and gets away from the family and makes her way to the surface. And this causes a huge storm in the town. You know, it's flooding everywhere until she finally makes her way back to Sosuke. But she's now a sort of mutant. She's grown arms and legs and is starting to become a human girl. And so when she arrives at Sosuke's house, it's completely bizarre, but as bizarre as it is, him and his mother take her in when he realised that this is Ponyo, this girl in front of me was the goldfish, and mum just seems to go along with it for some reason. And it all seems fun, and they take her in and they feed her and they start to settle in. Now obviously everything is not quite alright because the balance of the universe is now out of whack. And so Ponyo's mother, the goddess of mercy, the goddess of the sea, comes to reset the balance and talks to Ponyo's dad and says, we're going to test the boy. We're going to test Sosuke to see if his love is pure. If his love is pure, even though they're so young, then Ponyo can become a human. And if not, she will return to being sea foam, as all sea creatures began from. So Sosuke's mum goes to the other side of the village after the storm to help all the kind of elderly people at the senior centre. Meanwhile, the town has completely flooded. The buildings are almost underwater. And so Ponyo uses a bit of her magic to make Sosuke's toy boat get a bit bigger, and off he goes to help people in the town. And I don't want to say any more than that. There's still quite a lot to go, but I want to leave it up to you. What happens to Ponyo? What happens to Sosuke? What happens to the mum and dad? You know, does the balance of the universe come back? I will leave it up to you. Do I recommend Ponyo? I think it's a bit of a stupid question on this one. 100% yes. I absolutely love this one. We're right back to the utter charming beauty of My Neighbor Totoro and that kind of thing. I love everything about Ponyo. The animation, the story, the characters, the music. It's not a very complicated, this one. It's a really simple little story, but it's just beautiful. The double disc Blu-ray is fantastic. I haven't got the steelbook on this one because it's super expensive, but I may upgrade at some point. So watch it, buy it, absolutely recommend it, 100% yes. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me a big thumbs up if you liked this video. Did you love Ponyo as much as me? I hope you did. Leave me a comment to let me know. Share this any way you want and subscribe to my channel to know more. Next week we are covering another absolutely fantastic Ghibli film, Arrietty. I'm on all the usual social media platforms, as you know. Twitter and Instagram are both Mark Joseph Actor, so go follow me there now. Click over here somewhere to see last week's episode, which was Tales from Earthsea, and click over here somewhere to see my movie-based comedy series, Retrospectives. So I will see you all right back here next week for Arrietty, but from me, Mark on Life and GhibliTime, I will speak to you soon.